Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a 2,000 point game of my Orcs against some Chaos Dwarfs. So we're actually having this game because the guy that is painting my bike army for 40k, he came over, wanted to have a game. He told me he's doing Chaos Dwarfs, so I thought, hey, let's do kind of a theme army. And the idea here is, I'm trying to get revenge on him enslaving all the Black Orcs and creating them. So to do that, I have this all-Orc force to do it. We ended up getting Battle for the Pass, and on here we have that sinister statue in the middle. We got a couple of regular buildings, a couple of obstacles, and then there's that mysterious forest on the left. For my forces, from left to right, I have 5 savages on boars, and they got shields. My horde of black orcs, I got a boar chariot. Then I got 40 orcs there, and in there is my black orc BSB, and he has the Ring of Ruin. And then on the next unit there is another unit of 40 orcs with shields, and then there I have a black orc big boss with the 2+ save. Then I have my horde of savage big guns, and then the last thing there, no, that's all I got there. On his side here, now he has kind of a mix of units. Some of his stuff he has some really old Chaos Dwarf stuff. He has some more modern Chaos Dwarf stuff, if you can call anything modern, and then he has a whole bunch of these things that he's slowly converting from dwarf models to be it. He's kind of taking a dwarf, file off the head, add a thumbtack upside down, and then he's just getting the process. But anyway, what he has on the left is this big unit of something 20-ish, 25-ish Chaos Warriors, and those are supposed to have shields. And in there he has his level 4 mage that has death. Then in there as well, he has the 2 hobgoblin heroes with the great weapons, kind of like my night goblin version. And then in the middle, he has a whole bunch of those blunderbusses, and there's a Thane in there behind the line, 2 Earthshakers, and a Doom Rocket. And then on the far right, he has 20-something dwarf warriors with great weapons. And in there he has his level 2 with shadows, and he also has his centaur BSB guy. So the big thing for me going into this is that I don't know Chaos Dwarves whatsoever. I mean, I've played them once before, so it's going to be interesting. I've read through some of the rules and stuff, but I mean, the only time I played against them before was the indie version. This is the white dwarf version, so I'm just going to kind of run up and see what happens. So luckily I get turn 1. It's lucky because I forgot to say there's also that marsh underneath my savages where I'd be sinking in if I failed the initiative test. But anyway, they got with the animosity to have the extra range, so they ran up, everything else ran up, except for my boars that failed animosity and couldn't do anything. Only other thing that happens in this phase is, of course, I'm going to be shot by that silly sinister statue the whole entire game, but with my fireball ring thing there, I go and I kill something like 3 of the blunderbusses. So I think that's the only magic I do the entire game. As opposed to my opponent, where the very first thing he does is uses his death magic to kill off my BSB. And, being that this is orcs and goblins and leadership sometimes being a problem, I really wanted to keep that BSB alive, but, he scored like 11 power dice this phase, and there's only so much you can do. All I can do now is hope that my general makes it. He also gets this spell off on the savages over here, which is going to reduce their movement by 3. And so that's really not going to help with me getting to his lines too fast. And at the end, it kind of looks like this. His blocks shuffled a tiny bit. He had some bad luck with his war machines. The one on the far left, the Earthshaker, misfired, couldn't shoot this turn or next. The next Earthshaker misfired, couldn't shoot this turn, and the Doom Rocket, maybe it did some damage, I can't remember, but nothing too serious. So, Orcs turn 2, these are going to be pretty simple turns now because I just move up, I got no magic because my little ring guy's dead, but I fail animosity with those boar boys again, so they're stuck way back there, and I mean, I had really hoped that these guys would be able to rush around those trees there and go after his war machines. But thanks to some unlucky animosity rolls, they're just being left in the back. And now we get to the Chaos Dwarfs turn 2. And now this is where I learned that I'm going to be in quite a bit of trouble. His magic phase didn't really get anything done this time, luckily. but this time his Earthshakers got the shoot. And when his first one went and scattered 10 inches off, I was wondering, why even looking to figure out why it lands. It's a miss. And then I remembered and realized the thing where after it lands, 2d6 out from there, all those units get their movement halved. And so you can see all the units are going to have dice in front of them. Their movement is halved. So between that and being further away and his blocks are now starting to shuffle backwards, I don't know if I'm going to be seeing combat anytime soon. So we get back to my turn 3. Luckily Animosity is nice to me, but I'm basically just moving up. My boar boys are trying to catch up. My black orcs have gone to the forest. Turns out it's a fungus forest, so now they're stupid. But, my furthest unit ahead is these savages, and I really want to get them into combat because, they're just going to brutalize those Chaos Dwarfs with great weapons. So, I'm just trying to line that up, but, between my movement and him inching back, it just isn't happening. So, Chaos Dwarf turn 3, you can see all those dice in front of me again, where I'm all the -1 movement. One of those was, or half movement, one of those was from a direct hit on my chariot, which killed it. And also you get the spell off in the savages over there where they're -2 to their movement as well. So they're just dead slow. And man, I look so close, but I got so far to go because my movement is so reduced. So my turn 4, just shuffling up again as best I can. I had the whole time that stupid statue is still shooting me and all this stuff, but now I have my boars I've swooped around the side, and so now I have my savages that are just trying to get into combat on that side, and that looks well. And against his shield Chaos Dwarfs on the left, I got my black orcs in the front, and then I could either throw my savages on boars in the flank to try and add some kills, or I can finally start going through all those war machines. But at least I have the option now. Now this picture here is showing that to this point he had full command and everything in his unit and those 2 hobgoblin characters so that his level 4 could hide in the second rank. Well, now he pops up to the front and he shoots off the smaller version of the purple sun through my lines here, the black orcs. I'm forced to take something like 18 tests, and luckily I only failed 10 of them, but yeah, that purple sun isn't very nice to my initiative 2 orcs. Otherwise, end of his turn looks like this. He's still just slowly moving back, but finally the one that did move up was those blunderbusses. They moved up and shot and killed some of my orcs there. Well, actually, it wasn't too bad, but you can see up there now that his Earthshakers have made it so that both my cavalry and the black orcs can't, or their movement is halved. So I don't think I'll be getting any charges off this turn over there. So this is the start of my turn 5, and I think you should look at this because this was pretty crazy and quite the learning experience. Now, the idea that I had that I thought was brilliant is that that unit that was further back that now has no character in it was going to declare their charge first into the blunderbusses. If they declare their stand and shoot on them, well then that means that the unit with my general, which I want to keep big, can be charging in after, and then if they don't shoot at them, well then I probably won't charge them with my general's unit at all. I'll just send them in, beat them up, and my general's unit can be going to do something else. However, when they first charged, he declared a stand and shoot, and we then realized that these guys shoot in like a column. They don't shoot directly at anything. It's just directly ahead. You go the width of the unit, and it goes up 1 foot. So by charging with the top unit, he's now shooting into the bottom unit. So after that, they just, the guys in the top are going to fail their charge, and the guys in the bottom are going to be making it through. But it was just a really interesting situation. And then once in there, we had a challenge between his Thane and my big boss. His guy actually had this gauntlet, and he had this 1+ save and stuff. But from this gauntlet, he killed one of his own guys, and then whipped all of his attacks against me. And then I managed to do 1 wound against him. So good old big boss was able to do what he was supposed to do. So after my turn 5, it looks like this. My stupid black orcs were actually stupid, and so they didn't get to do anything. With the reduced movement of my cavalry, they weren't able to do anything as well. And the big thing here is I thought that when he was going to be reducing my movement by half, that would be my movement value. But apparently from the FAQ from Spain, it says, from what he's translated, that you also have it for charges and everything like that and pursuits. And I'm pretty sure what that's mainly supposed to be is that, I mean, you're still supposed to half the movement value, but you don't even use that for pursuit. So it seemed to say then that you half it all the time. So I mean, it was really hard to get any charges off. The savages tried to charge at the bottom, didn't make it. As you can see there, my guy at the general brutalized the blunderbusses, ran them down, and now I'm into the Earthshaker. But yeah, now it's turn 5. I mean, this is 8th, and usually I'm in combat turn 2, and now I'm just finally seeing my first combat in turn 5. So in his turn 5, he's still got this purple sun that's all scattering around. Just barely touches my Black Orcs, goes to the other side, made me take 6 tests. I failed 1. 1 initiative 2 test out of 6. And then what he does after the thing scatters is, or I can't remember that scattered on my turn. Anyway, he then casts another purple sun that goes back here through my unit, killing a good bunch of them, and then also destroys the war machine that he was fighting, or I was fighting here. And the good news for him about this is that now, because there'll be no combat, I can't combat reform and be pointing a better direction. So at the end of his turn 5, it looks like this. His guys are still just shuffling back. You can see his one caster on the bottom had moved out of the way, and also his BSB had moved up. That's pretty much it. I mean, my guys at the bottom there, he got hit with an Earthshaker again, so they're going to be going slow, and same thing with the Black Orcs on top. So I've seen 1 combat so far. I'm hoping to see more. And now this was hilarious. Again, you have this thing scattering around, and so now this purple sun goes backwards, hits his other mage over here, and I guess in the fluff, dwarf mages are supposed to be part stone, so they have like initiative 1, which he obviously fails and then kills his own mage with his own purple sun. And in my turn 6 here, I did get to see a little bit more combat. Savages charge in the bottom, they fail. It's going to be trouble trying to get past that house anyway because it's a little bit too small. I was hoping to hit them and then force them to close the door to me, but whatever, I didn't make it. Black Orcs failed their charge. The other Orcs did make their charge into those Chaos Dwarfs at the top. Turns out that we're only clipping on the 1, and we did no damage to each other. I won by 1 and he holds. Up there, he had moved out 2 hobgoblins back to back just to kind of block my boars. Yeah, it didn't matter because they failed animosity again. Didn't get to do anything. But at least my guys there were able to charge the 1 Earthshaker, destroy it, and then overrun it to the other one. So scoring some points at least. So at this point, my Chaos Dwarf opponent has kind of realized that he's losing the game, and if he doesn't do anything drastic, he's going to lose. So this fight at the bottom that I've been looking to try and get forever, he now charges into me. So at least I get to see this fight. But I mean, this whole turn is just going to be about him doing desperate things to try and get some points from me. Even at the top here, where I mean, these 2 heroes are just going to be charging into my boar boys here, just hoping to score some points. But in the end, didn't work out for him. My savages slaughtered 10 of his guys. He kills 1 of mine, and I run him down. His BSB wanted to charge my general's unit, but just did not have the right arc to be able to see them. I destroyed the last Earthshaker. The combat between his guys and mine is another pillow fight, and at the top I killed both of his hobgoblins before they were able to hit back at me. So in the end, pretty clear win for the Orcs and Goblins. So victory to the Orcs, and this picture here is just kind of showing how the game was kind of stacked. Now when you first look at this, it was, battle for the pass, so I had a long way to go. I had all those Earthshakers reducing my movement. I had his spells reducing my movement, and I had animosity slowing me down as well. So I mean, in a way, I mean, if things could have gone a little bit better for him, or if he would have been a little bit deployed even further back, I wouldn't have seen combat at all. However, it actually was more stacked in my side because he couldn't really score any points for me. He doesn't really have anything that does really any damage at range. I mean, he has those kind of stone thrower things, but they're all fairly weak. And in the end, he can only really beat me in combat or trying to finish me off in combat. But with my huge hordes, that was never going to happen. So when he was looking at this game, it was basically a losing situation for him, was the way that he felt about it. I mean, he still thought it was a great game. Got to try out his Chaos Dwarfs again, and this is the first time he's ever seen Orcs and Goblins in 8th. But Yeah, I mean, it's just when you look at it, it was just first seems unfair for me, but then really it was actually unfair for him. I mean, what I would have given for Hand of Gork? If I would have had some magic to be able to teleport my guys up, this would be a completely different game. But as it was, it's a pretty interesting experience, and hope you liked it. Bye.